That's not a big deal right now. In 2017, that it was quite controversial
Oh
that we played the
yeah,
account
that
together.
was.
Yeah, nobody cares about that now, but it
I
was quite controversial.
That is wild to think, dude.
Right?
Dude,
Yeah.
even
Yeah, man.
I was talking about this just last, maybe it was on a stream or something. Yeah, it must have been on a stream. Somebody said they were listening back to the old BC Guppy casts that were 3.5 years old at this point, and just discussing little things that we forget. There was like taboo things to talk about almost, or like
Yeah.
just the way we saw integrity in the game has just completely, and that's only in 3.5 years. So looking back at 2017 and longer ago, like, dude, it's wild. I always bring up the example of when originally when old school came out, you could not click your scroll wheel on the mouse to rotate your camera, and they
Oh,
pulled it and it
yeah.
failed because that was like breaking integrity. Basically, I was like, no, keep it old school,
Wow.
keep it old school. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, we've come a long way.
Well, I mean, there used to like not be XP drops. I mean, there's all sorts of
Yeah,
changes that I think are great changes for the game. But I used to be one of those guys who was like, don't change the game in any way, shape, or form.
no,
But
I think majority of the community did feel that way. It's just been a
hmm
shift in the community, and a lot. I mean, obviously, we've had a lot of the community leave over time. Whether we just burn out, quit entirely, or
yeah,
they just don't even care anymore. But no, you were like everybody else. I was the same way. I mean, I even
yeah,
joined late, and I felt that sort of like, okay, keep old school, old school. I still feel like we have that spirit, but it's just we're a bit more enlightened, I feel like. Whether that's for
yeah,
our own good or bad, we'll see in the next, decade,
yeah,
but we'll see.
yeah. If it lasts that long, we'll see. I hope so, man. I my hope is that if this game ever goes under, they release just like a one-time purchase, a local download, just so I can keep playing my Iron Man forever. I'd pay like a couple $100 for that, dude.
Dude,
Like if it
the
ever goes under, they could make some serious money doing that.
oh yeah. Dude, I mean, the best part about a downloadable game that's like offline would just be zero ping. Zero ping, bro. Can
Oh,
you
I for,
imagine
oh,
everywhere?
I had never even thought of that.
Just how
I had never
glorious
even
that would be. I
thought of
mean,
that.
I personally, I've said this before. I think RuneScape as an MMO, it really is. I feel like the reason people play as much as they do is because of the flex. Don't get me wrong, the game is still fun enough to play without flexing anybody, but I feel like the community aspect and knowing that there's an official
Yeah,
server that you can flex your items and your pets and whatever
yeah.
you've
When
done.
you've got stuff like GM and all that now, right?
hmm
Which they are big flexes, right? The Infernal. I think the flexing kind of started with the Infernal Cape, right?
No, I think flex. Well, in regards to PVM, maybe Fire Cape even was earlier, but there was
Yeah.
always flexing with 99s. Even if you could get a 90, like why would you have grinded for 99 fire making pre Winter Todd if it wasn't for the flex? Like of just being like, bro,
Oh,
look at my
yeah.
cape, look at my
No,
motherfucking cape back there. I
absolutely.
lit lines for God knows how long. I'm a beast. Dude,
Yeah.
I
No, I
remember
mean that's fair.
respecting deeply people that had 99 fire making capes. They were so rare. They were the rarest. I want to say they were the rarest 99 capes. They might have been tied or something, or maybe just slightly under like rune
Satyr.
crafting.
I don't know, but that just sounds wrong.
I
I don't know
know.
though. It
I
just
know,
sounds
dude.
wrong.
No,
Fire
but
making?
dude, I remember going for 99 fire making back in early 2016. This is pre
Okay.
Winter Todd. The Winter Todd came out later that
Yeah, no, I
year.
get you.
And dude, I remember looking. I think there was like 8,000 total people that had 99 fire making at that time. Something around
Wow.
there. And that was a little bit. I don't know. Like I remember really going for that. Winter Todd came out, and then everything just got devalued. I'm like, okay, I don't care. I don't care about this anymore. This is stupid.
At what point do you think that you stopped caring?
I mean, just right when Winter Todd came out for that specifically.
I mean, just in general. I mean, you still care a little bit about integrity, but at what point do you think that kind of stopped happening so much? As far as
Ooh,
we were talking about how much me and you used to care about the
yeah,
integrity of the
yeah.
game.
No, it's been a very, very slow transition.
Yeah.
And because I still do care about it. Even late last year, I was having, my own butt hurtness and just my rambles throwing fits about
Yeah.
a lot of, I mean, Scar Essence mine, Duke mining. I would still have a problem with that. If somebody were to come out with, hey, we have this new, just sleep overnight and get 60K mining XP every night for just
Oh no,
learning
I
and
don't like
clicking.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's things that are just going way too far. But in regards to quality of life specifically, I am 100% on board. And I think
Yeah,
the biggest reason that's changed for me is RuneLight. Just the addition of RuneLight, just going
absolutely.
crazy.
And back in the day, I was anti-client. I used Conduit because it was better than Jagex Launcher. But
Conduit.
the only thing that I used it for at least was Boss Timer, just for God Wars, and that was the only plugin that I had.
Yeah, I mean, there was no such thing as tile markers, I feel like. Maybe there was,
Oh
but
no,
nobody used them. I
I
don't even
I
think there
I,
was.
I was surprised when I heard about them. I mean, we were when Inferno came out, we were dropping vials on the ground. We were turning off our vial smasher so that we could drop vials on the ground
There
or
wasn't
runes
even
or
Vial
whatever.
Smasher, I don't think. It
Oh,
was
maybe
just,
maybe I'm
yeah,
wrong.
you just
Well, this was
drop
when
them.
I was
Yeah.
going for the Infernal then.
Okay.
On the hardcore. Yeah, like I turned the vial smasher off so that I could be dropping the vials, and I'd pull like soul runes out and stuff so that I would know what tiles to stand on. But I don't know if tile markers are good or bad for the game. Personally, I really like them if they're not like overdone. But I think ultimately probably bad for the game.
It is okay. So what has helped me kind of stay sane somewhat is just not caring as much. Like the plugins are unreal. You just look at Nilo Room. You don't even have to like really
Yeah.
focus because all the crabs are being deleted, so they're just visibly they're gone before.
Yeah.
Not even when they've died, but
Oh, the
pre-death.
entity hider. Yes, yes,
No,
yes,
no,
yes.
but
Yeah.
it's like beforehand. It's like it will calculate. Okay, did you just KO this? Okay, we're gonna make it disappear two
Oh,
ticks
with
before
the
it would have
XP
actually
drop.
died. Yeah,
That's insane. It's interesting you say that because I think I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I used to be very tight knit in the PVM community, and I'm not really a part of that anymore. I'm not as far as skill level as far as like community. And I think that might be one of the reasons that I don't care so much is I'm not surrounded by the people that do care about that type of stuff.
totally. You know what's wild is looking at people. I mean, you see somebody going into Theater of Blood for the first time to learn it, and they have the shittiest gear most likely,
Yeah.
and they have no plugins. And they are just struggling beyond belief to try to get this thing done, even with like, some good teammates. And then you see just the stark difference between going into
Yeah.
somebody who's ran Theater of Blood 2,000 times, has max gear, has every fucking plugin enabled. So
Yep.
everything has just become a breeze. Every timer's there, every entity hider's there. You can prioritize your clicks are better. Your whole
Yep.
night or your Zarpus is all set up perfectly. Like it is actually wild to just see not even just skill based, but just the amount of plugins that have helped like ease the difficulty when it comes to
Yeah.
just getting into Theater of Blood. But I don't know if it's a problem. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have these discussions honestly that often. Maybe it's because I just
Yeah.
lack bringing on PVMers that really, really care about this and they want to talk about it. But let me ask you, we're both distanced from what is considered the tight knit sort of like high level PVM community. But what
Yeah.
are there plugins specifically that you are like really against right now?
I think radius markers are kind of crazy.
They are,
There's a
aren't they?
lot
Isn't
going
that?
on there.
Yeah.
My buddy told me to turn them on. I turned them on. I turned them on within like 30 seconds. It was awful. There was so much shit on my screen. I don't want to play the game, you know? Like I'm okay with like my agility boxes being
Mhm.
lit up or whatever. It makes life a little easier. But like when the game's telling you everything to do, I think the Watchdog plugin probably is not good. But here's the other part. I used it when I got my quiver. So I kind of just don't care enough anymore. You know, if it's going to benefit me and if it's being used, if it's okay to use, then I'm probably going to use it. It's the ones that I don't use. It's by choice, just because I don't like them, not because they're like I think they're too OP. There's too much going on my screen. You
Yeah.
know.
Yep. I agree. And then there is that little element of me that's like, if I am, I really try to
There's a
like,
little bit of ego there too.
yeah,
I
there is
won't lie.
ego
I won't lie.
there is ego on my end too, because it's
I've
like,
got some ego there.
and that's why I have to distance myself because I know I'd get
Yeah.
frustrated over this kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
radius markers is the perfect example of there is skill to Nex, for example. There is some element of
Yes.
skill, and when you have every single thing marked out visually for you because of these plugins that are great, you have a great advantage using all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a serious advantage. And I don't know, you just get to the point where you stacked on so many serious advantages that it's just, I don't know. There's kind of like this turning point that has happened over the last couple years where people deeply respect people that don't use plugins for PVM or use the bare
Yeah.
minimum. An example I bring up that's not of RuneScape. I don't know. You think back like 10 years ago with fitness influencers just being jacked on
Okay.
steroids, you know?
Yeah.
They're all using steroids, which is what I'm going to be using as like plugins basically for RuneScape. So these
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
just
It's
jacked
a
up on
yeah.
steroids. But you're just like, wow, you're an incredible PVMer. But ultimately now we've swung the other way where you see a guy on steroids on like a social media post. You click on the comments and every guy's like, just you're juiced, bro. Like fucking cheater. Like
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah,
on drugs.
absolutely.
Like this ain't healthy, bro. And it's funny because you just look back just half a decade ago or something. And nobody was talking about people being on drugs in the comment
No,
section. They were just
no,
like,
yeah.
you're a god, like you're Hercules, bro. But